So this video is gonna be about my Christian journey. I know y'all been waiting on this for like forever, but I did not know how I wanted to set it up. And I was just tired of putting it off, and I'm like, okay, I'm putting this on here. I'm gonna talk about my struggles in Christianity next month, but this month I'm just gonna tell y'all like my background. So I've always been in church. My whole family, like normally it's like one aunt or sister or whatever that goes to church all the time, but everybody else doesn't go to church. No, it's literally my whole family. Like my daddy's side and my mama's side all go to church. So church to me is like, it used to be when I was younger, it used to be like a family reunion every Sunday. So we have a family house, which was my grandmother's mom's house. So we would go there after church every Sunday. They would cook every Sunday, and we would eat till it was dark and then go home. We did it every Sunday, which I really miss that. Um, so I got to see my cousins every Sunday. Like, it's like kind of amazing how much time we get to spend together. I think about it a lot now. Cause we kind of like are revamping the amount of time we spend together again. Because all our holidays, like every holiday, we go to a certain person's house, and that's the same every year. So now we kind of get together after church, but it's just the women. It's not everybody. And then we get together for birthdays now. We used to didn't do that. So church was always like, I would get to see family. So everybody that goes to my church is my family, plus extended family. It's probably like a few people I'm not related to. Normally the person that I'm not related to in the church is my pastor. Because of course they're like hired to work there. Um, so it's always been a place where I get disciplined. Where my examples were, and we always did service work. So my grandma, um, I was in choir at one point. I was an usher at one point. I We would go to church cleaning, we would go to cemetery cleaning, we would go to Bible study, we would go to Sunday school, and we would go to church. And I always liked it, but I think I always had a struggle with like, okay, I'm at church, I'm reading this, I'm doing this, and then you're supposed to read at home or whatever. I always had that disconnect, like, okay, when I get home, I need to be studying this or whatever during this whole time in between. It was just like I would be motivated at church, but then when I get home, I have no motivation, or I'm thinking about it and I need to do it, but I never do it, kind of thing. So then I got baptized and joined the church at 12 or 13, I can't remember. But at the time, we still were in our old church. Our new church was built in 2003 or 2014, 2003 or 2004, something like that. It was actually built by this group of men and women. I think they were called, dang, I just had it in my head. Anyway, there was like, they had these RVs, and they would come and build people's churches, and you would have to put in a certain amount of money, like a down payment, and then they would just do the rest. Like they would, I guess it would technically be for the, I was younger when this happened, so I don't really know like the specifics. But I think it's like just you actually get a down payment for the materials, and they actually build it, if that makes sense. So they literally stayed on the property for like whatever amount of time it took to build a church in these RVs, and they built our church. Our old church was, I wish they wouldn't have tore it down, but our old church was a white church, um, wooden white church. It had like steps on the front, metal brick steps on the front, and then on the side it had like a little ramp to go in, and then it had like little panels on the wall, like fake wooden panels. on the walls, and we had like heaters, like the in stuck in the on the floor heaters, and I guess they ran off gas. So we didn't have anything that was like central air, central heat, anything like that. So, and it was small. So this new church is huge. It's not a lot of pews in there, but it's huge. Um, so I've always been in the church. Like, it's never been a time where I wasn't in church. Like, I think the most Sundays I missed like in a row is 3. Well, 3 not including when I had RP, because I don't know if this is a universal thing, but the standing in the house for 6 weeks or 12 weeks or however long it is, that was the only time I was like actually out a long time. But other than that, like actually healthy and well, was 3 weeks. 3 Sundays I missed probably in a row. So, my home church, like I said, it's my family church. So a lot of my family's there. We would always go to revival, like in August. We would go to, during the summer, my mama would take us to vacation Bible schools at other people's churches. It was actually kind of fun back then. People don't really go to vacation Bible school anymore. And then when I moved to my first time leaving home was when I went to Mobile. That was in 10th grade. Yeah, something like that. So I was trying to go to church with the people I knew. Because we had like an orientation weekend, so we kind of met people before we actually moved into the dorms. So we had our little crew or whatever, and then we had this church that we would walk to. So it was like maybe a mile away, maybe not a whole mile, but it was a non-denominational church that was not too far away. When me and my mom and my brother stayed in Georgia, we went to a non-denominational white church. It was huge. And you didn't know the pastor. I don't think I knew any members. I think we just came in, sat in our row, and we had church and we went home, like, kind of thing. And I really, really liked that church. And then in high school we went to the non-denominational church. This was a black non-denominational church. And it was basically, honestly, like a Baptist church, honestly. My normal church is Missionary Baptist, my family church. And so, we went there. It was nice. The only thing that was different was they were like that kind of church that's like, we want seed money for this project or whatever. And I had never really experienced that, because in my church we had building fund, regular offering, and they done mixed them all together now. Building fund, regular offering, and what's the other? Mission, I guess. And we went to mission meetings. So it wasn't anything bad that they were asking for the seed money or whatever. I just didn't know anything about it at the time. And then I ended up going to church with somebody that my family knew. It's actually my great aunt's husband's family member. So cut me off because my storage full. So they wanted me to go to church with them, and it was a Presbyterian church. I had never been to a Presbyterian church before, and I liked it. And I didn't go for Sunday school or anything like that. I just went for church, and it was an hour, and I was like, "Oh, we got what we needed, and we got in and out." Black church not like that. So I started to go to church with them. All my other friends went to the same non-denominational black church, and then I think it was called Living Word. And then they started going to a church that another guy that went to school with us went to, and they would send a van over to pick them up. So they went to that church. I did go with them one time, but it was just like it was basically the same. I'm sure they went for the singing and all that. I'm not all about all that. And so I went to the Presbyterian church for the rest of the time I was there. So that was 3 years I was there. So when I went to Thibodaux, Louisiana, to go, I automatically looked for a Presbyterian church because I liked it. And the church I went to was called First Presbyterian Church. And it was a small church. Actually reminded me of my home church because there was a lot of older people there, and it was a small church. And I actually really liked it there, and I stayed there the whole time. I actually got into their women's study class. It was like Tuesday mornings at like 10, and they would first talk about like what was going on with everybody. Then they would pray, and then we'd have like a Sunday school, and I would just go there before I went to work at like 10. And so I did that the whole time I was there. And then when I moved to Montgomery for like 6 months before I went back to Louisiana, I went to a Presbyterian church in Montgomery. And it was huge, but I still loved it. And so I needed a church to go to in Montgomery on the days I needed to go to work because I wanted to go to church before I went to work. And so that's where I would go. And then we actually went to a night service one time. I took my friend with me. It was so nice. It was like an Easter Eve something. It was amazing. And yeah, so I was going to both churches then. And then when I went back to Louisiana, I was at that same church. So I'm really close with still all the pastors of all the churches. And then now I'm going to the same church I was going to in Montgomery, and then my home church. So I alternate Sundays. I go one Sunday there, one Sunday here. And my church, home church now, I'm not really loving, but I stay there because the word is being preached. And I know my family needs my help with missions and the stuff we do around the church and stuff like that, because our membership is down, and we basically have no young people other than me and my brother. And that's basically why I still go. I always felt like, I don't know, I get stuff from my church, like it's stuff that helps me through the week and all that, like normal. But I felt like at the Presbyterian church, I felt like they had something that we were missing. And I haven't figured it out. I still haven't figured it out. But I felt like if you listen to the way they pray, because now I go to their Sunday school. I hadn't been going to Sunday school at the Presbyterian church up until 2 weeks ago. Well, like the last month. I just started going. If you listen to the way they pray, I feel like it's something so different about the way they pray and the way they speak to God that I like so much more than Baptist church. I don't I haven't figured out what it is, but it's just, and another big difference is people actually ask during their, I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. But I will figure it out. But actually, like, my dream job would be like studying the Bible, because like History Channel used to be like my favorite channel because they used to do specials on like God, and like looking at places he went and looking in tombs and stuff like that. And I used to love that stuff. And I even took a class in high school about Jesus' disciples, and I took one in college about women in the Bible. So I actually do like studying the Bible and like actually looking at pictures of things that were during that time and researching, and I love all that. Like, I can get lost in that for like forever. But that's my intro. So see y'all later. My camera keeps cutting off on me because it's saying my storage is full, so I have no idea how I'm going to edit these videos. But see you guys. Bye.